Internet decides, there we go. We are live.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Back up here for another video, the second interview in one day. Earlier, I interviewed my good friend, Ben Garten. Check out that interview. Now I'm back up here with my other good friend, Rustic. Welcome to youtube.com/DanielGuyson412. It's great to finally do this interview with you.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. And this is like the first time I've done like a live stream like this with somebody in years. And it's really awesome that you're from Pittsburgh, which is like my hometown, you know?
Yep.
So like, I'm just super, super excited. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And before we get going here into the questions, why don't you tell the audience, if they're not familiar with you, a little bit about yourself?
Okay. All right. Hi, audience. My name is Rustic Bodomov. I'm a professional stuntman. I live and I work in Los Angeles, California. Today I'm wearing a hoodie because it's actually raining. Like it only rains like twice in a year. But anyways, so my name is Rustic. I'm a professional stuntman and filmmaker. I also have a YouTube channel. That's how I know Daniel from. Actually, we know each other through mutual friends as well. But yeah, so on my channel, I do like filmmaking tutorials on how to film fight scenes, how to produce stunts. I also do action comedy videos, and yeah, and then for work I do stunts, and I work on movies, and I double actors, and yeah, and I'm originally from Russia too, so that we speak. Если хотите, чтобы я говорил по-русски, можем по-русски тоже. Okay.
There you go. I was gonna say, you're gonna give us a little bit of the accent. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I have a PewDiePie chair.
Nice. Woo! That is badass. All right, so you ready? Here we go. Let's
do this.
Question number one. Who or what inspired you to get involved with stunt choreography?
I'll give you one guess. I'm just kidding. Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. Yeah, for me, like those are my biggest, I don't know, I don't want to call anybody an idol, but like my biggest role models, like just growing up, I was super obsessed. Like I still didn't know what I wanted to do when I was growing up in Pittsburgh, but I was just really obsessed with watching behind the scenes of Jackie Chan movies. Like, you know, when you watch a movie and like the credits roll in a Jackie Chan movie and it shows like all the stuff that they did, like the stunts that didn't work out, and then the stuff that did, you know. So I started with that, and then I started getting obsessed with watching all the featurettes on DVDs. So I'd watch like the behind the scenes and stuff. And then like, as I was turning like 13, I started really trying to do martial arts. I don't know why, it was just like, I really wanted to. And so I started reading books on Bruce Lee. And yeah, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan for me are like the most inspirational people. And then the second part to your question is actually what inspired me. I would think that what inspired me to actually move out here to actually do stunts and get into the business. And that was me. I was actually in college just studying architecture in Scotland, and I was spending all of my time doing parkour and making videos with my friends and filming reels and filming fight scenes and filming comedy scenes. And I was like going through like I don't know what initiated it, but I was just really going through like a changing point in my life. And I heard an Alan Watts speech. Alan Watts is a philosopher, a psychologist. He's on YouTube. You can look him up. But he asked a question. He was like, if you had all the money in the world, what do you see yourself doing? You know, like he basically questions like, after you get through the first maybe like 2 or 3 months of just like partying, like if you have all the money, just go party, right? And you get bored, like how do you get yourself creative and fulfilled? And to me, that question was answered. I answered that question by saying I would just be making movies with my friends. And so I was like, well, I'm already doing stunts. I might as well try it. I was 20 years old at the time. So I moved out. Yeah. To LA.
Nice. That's awesome. And we'll talk about LA. Okay. That'll be later on.
I know. I went off on a super tangent. My bad.
That's okay. Hey, that's what I love about interviews. You know, they can go any way you want. All right. Question number 2. Since I know you do parkour and it's amazing and I love stuff like that, how long have you been doing parkour and what is the hardest part about mastering it?
All right. Great question, man. So I actually started doing parkour when I was 16. So I'm 27 now. So that's like 11 years. Over the past like 2 or 3 years, I've kind of been focusing more on like fight choreography, but you could say I've been doing parkour for about 11 years. So you said, how long have I been doing parkour and what is the hardest part about mastering it?
Yeah.
So I would say the hardest part. So if you guys are interested in parkour, for me, I'm very focused on self-development. So for me, what was the hardest part, and for anybody that's starting out, I would say is just being honest with the training that you're doing and doing it as often as possible. Basically, like learning how to take things in small steps. Like when I first started out, I would just want to, try the next big thing. Like I wanted to just go backflip off everything before I could even do, a front handspring or something like that, or a handstand, and that was the hardest part for me, like of the learning curve. Like once I figured it out, I had to learn step by step and I'll focus on really, really small things. That's when my skill set started to go up. But that's what I say, I think is the hardest part about mastering it, is always wanting to jump ahead and try the next thing, which is good. It's part of it. But if you're only doing that, then you can tend to neglect the basics. And the guys that I was learning from when I was in Scotland, I started a parkour club in the city that I was in because nobody was doing it. And I was just like, I want to do parkour with people. So I printed out some flyers, put them up all around the university, and I got people to start coming. And so we all started kind of learning together. But also at the same time, because of that, I started being in touch with other groups from Scotland, like these guys from Glasgow. I think they're called Glasgow Parkour. I forget what my buddy Chris. Dang it, I gotta remember names better. But anyways, my buddy Chris from Glasgow in Scotland, I observed how he did it, and basically, I would say like he's really, really talented in movement, and the way they did their parkour, like their style was, because there's no gyms to try stupid stuff in with like mats and stuff. There's just like concrete and rain and railings and all around, and gravel. So what they would do is for a whole workout, they would focus on the very, very basics of like one aspect, like balance. So like a whole workout could be you find a set of rails and you start on one end and you try to get to the other. And every time you fall off, you do 10 push-ups, you restart it. And it's basically all that kind of stuff, like really basic, just getting focused on balance, and then they do other foundational movements, like a lot of like crawling on the ground in a bear walk, then like a cat crawl, then going backwards, like moving like a monkey, moving like different types of animals, So to bring it back to your question, I think the hardest part for somebody starting out would be to understand that it is really rewarding to focus on basics and just go really slow. And that way you can last for a long time. Like you don't just destroy yourself.
Well, I've noticed that in stunts too. I kind of want to jump ahead, but like you said, once you master those basics and get that down, then you can the slow progression is really the way to go to truly get in. To me, with anything, but that's just great advice in general. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, next question here. How many film projects have you been involved with? I don't need an exact number, but a rough estimate. And what has been your favorite project so far, if you had to narrow it down and just pick one?
Okay. You said you don't want an exact answer, but I actually did.
Number.
Number. Okay. All right. So how many film projects? I've been in LA for almost 8 years now, and I've been in a lot of different like film and TV shows and commercials, that kind of stuff. Like for example, on my stunt resume, there's a section for film, TV, and commercials. If you want to know about strictly films, once again, I don't put everything on my resume, but I have it pulled up here. And the ones that I actually count, I have 18 films that are on my resume that I count as like, which means I was there and I got paid, and then like it's furthered my career. But there's other stuff that you kind of do favors for friends here and there. Like somebody wants you to help out on a film. I'm actually helping out a friend of mine on a film this Monday. So yeah, so I've been in enough films. And then the other question was, what's my favorite project so far? Dang, let me think about this. I'm gonna go look at my resume again. Actually, I would say my favorite project so far has been, well, two. There's two parts to it.
Okay.
My favorite for my personal self has been working on a movie called The Debt Collector with Scott Adkins, he's like a big action actor in like the action indie community. And I think he was also in Doctor Strange for a thing. But anyways, I got to stunt double him on the Debt Collector, and I got to meet the guy, and he's super, super talented.
Wow.
And then, so for me, that was a really cool experience. And then I also got to fight him as well. Like later in the movie, we did a whole fight scene together. I think it's also on my reel, so
nice.
You can kind of see me. And as far as another aspect of why I have another favorite one, my other favorite movie that I worked on was the recent one where I went to the country of Georgia, and I was there for 2 months, like late last year. And that was a movie called Saira. And the reason I like that is because it was the first time I got flown out of the country, put up in like a 5-star hotel for 2 months, you know. Jeez. So that was really nice, but it was really hard work because we were doing like 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, just like getting up, like going to bed at 8:30, waking up at 4:30 a.m., driving in a shuttle for an hour to get to the set, being there for 12 hours, coming back, you know. But I loved the getting into the rhythm of it. Like once after the first week or two, you just got into it, and it was just nice. It was just nice to show up, to know you're working, to get it out of the way, to make some money, and to have fun with friends. And working on movies is amazing like that, just because, like in LA, what I've noticed is the majority of people that work is just kind of like day players. Like you'll get a day here, maybe a couple of days there on different projects. Yeah. But going somewhere to work for an extended amount of time like that is nice, because then you get to know the people you're working with and hanging out with, and you make friends. And we actually still have a group chat that we text in. So, Saira, yeah.
Nice. Hey, what was the You were on a show on CBS too. I remember that. That was one of your projects you did.
CBS.
They're like, it was a while back.
Was it Grimm maybe? Or was I doing stunts on it?
No, you were just an extra. But I remember you were on. Oh, I forget the name of that. But I was going to ask you about that. I should have looked up the name.
Well, that's another thing. That's part of the survival mechanism of living in LA. Is for a while you had to do like background work, extra work, work as an extra. Yeah, I've done a lot of TV shows where I was just an extra, but I don't really talk about that. But I can't talk about it. But
you were like pulled over to the side of the road, and they like had you guys rounded up, and they were like interrogating you. I don't know if that helps. That's just from what I remember.
Oh, that wasn't no. So I know what you're talking about. That was I wasn't actually being an extra. That was that was my first ever acting role in a TV show.
Oh,
so I was speaking Russian, and it was pretty cool. It was actually on a TV show called SEAL Team.
That's it.
Yeah, SEAL Team. It was really fun actually. That I got the part because I'm a stuntman, and they were casting stunt people for this role who could speak Russian and who could drive a stick shift, because the way productions work, like insurance won't let like someone random, you know, it's like a liability. But if they get a stunt person in there who can also act, they get 2 birds with 1 stone. Like they don't have to get an actor and get a stunt double for him to drive the car. So that's how I got that. Yeah, man, it was fun. It was like, I was so nervous because like I had never really had any traditional acting training. And just doing the audition for that, it was actually a self-tape, which means that they just sent me like a couple lines from the script, and they said, just film yourself saying these. And it was cool because it was in Russian. So for some reason, for me, speaking in Russian made it way easier. And I never knew this before, but like, I guess because Russian is my first language, I think that it somehow connects more emotionally to like the emotional truth that I could say. So yeah, it worked.
That's awesome. Nice. All right, next question here. Speaking of action movies, who is your favorite action movie star of all time? Who's the best? Who do you got?
Favorite action movie star of all time? Jackie Chan. Of course.
Nice. That's a good pick. Popular one, but I see why. He is incredible.
Yeah. No, man, I'm obsessed. Well, I guess obsessed is a strong word, but I was obsessed with Jackie Chan. He's just like, dude, as far as like action, what is an action movie star, right? It's someone that has the skills, someone that has the charm, I guess, like the on-screen presence, you know, and the storytelling through what they're doing. And for me, that's Jackie Chan. And I really like because as a person, I like watching that type of character that he keeps playing. You know, he plays like the underdog who gets into these like situations and then that kind of makes like light of them, but also kind of like has some hard times but gets through them. You know, so I really like the characters he plays, and yeah, Jackie Chan I'd say is my favorite. Also, I don't know if I told you this, but there's a really good autobiography that he put out like a couple years ago called Never Grow Up. I just finished reading it. It's dope. What were you gonna ask?
Check it out. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Jackie Chan, what's your favorite movie that he's been in, if you had to pick one?
I would say Who Am I? Have you seen that one?
No, I have not.
It's really good. I love it. It's actually I haven't seen it in a while, but basically the concept is he is I think he's like some sort of international spy that like hits his head and then gets amnesia like and forgets who he is completely. And so like the whole movie he's like traveling around different locations and at one point there's this really epic part when he's standing on top of a skyscraper and just goes, "Who am I?" It's like epic shot with like a helicopter going around. But there's some amazing choreography in there too. Like that's one of the most creative ones. Now, have you seen the stunt where Jackie Chan goes? He's like sliding on a roof of a skyscraper.
No. Oh man.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Stupid and dangerous, and I guess
yeah.
fun and amazing to watch. That's why we watch it. Right?
He did that for real.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and he talks about it. That's why also like the autobiography I just mentioned. He talks about what it was like to be Jackie Chan. It's crazy, man. Like he talks about it. Like reading this autobiography kind of opened my eyes and made me realize like how much nerve it takes to be Jackie Chan or someone on that level, you know?
Yeah.
Because before I would always like compare myself to him, like, yeah, I'm just like Jackie Chan. I want to be like just like Jackie Chan. But like reading that thing, I'm kind of realizing like, well, I guess I have my own way and way of thinking of stuff. Like, I don't know if I would jump off a skyscraper and slide down like 15 stories and might, because like the only thing to stop him was like a little lip of a building. Like if he had too much speed and people didn't catch him because there was some mats, he would have just went whoop, like down his skyscraper. Yeah. And he talks about how he did those stunts. Like every time that he was about to do something crazy like that, he said that in his head, he just went, "If I die, I die." And he just goes. I'm like, holy.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Man, and he's still, for his age, what is he, in his 60s, I'd say?
Man. I think he must be like, no, I think he's like his late 50s right now.
Late 50s? Okay. So he's still doing pretty good, you know? So, legend. Definitely a legend. Now, we're going to segue here into the type of characters that you've played. What is your favorite type of character to play on film? A good guy or a bad guy, and why? If you had to pick.
If I had to pick, okay. I would say my favorite characters, well, my initial reaction is to say I like to play good guys. Excuse me. Just because, sorry, I got a little bit of the burps. I prefer playing good guys, I think, maybe because I haven't had enough acting experience playing bad guys yet, but also because my biggest, inspiration is Jackie Chan, and he plays kind of like characters that are nice. But also like what a lot of people tell me and what I think too is like when you meet me in person, or like, I guess if you watch me on a camera, it's like, I think I have like a kind face, like, but like when I try to act mean and I just like, or do, it's like, I'm like, I try and get in that headspace. Like every time I watch myself back on a camera, like even if it comes out and even if somebody's like telling me everything's fine, I always just like kind of cringe a little bit. Like if I see myself being a bad guy, maybe it's because I don't have the acting experience to play it well yet, but yeah, it's like I kind of cringe. And then another part too is like, I don't like to live in an emotional space. I have played, like as a stunt performer, I get cast to play bad guys 99% of the time. I don't think I've ever actually been cast to play a good guy. I've cast myself as a good guy, making my own projects. But like there was this one project last year where I was like the right-hand man to this like gangster, and this was like this drug assassin movie. And the guy they cast to play the actual main bad guy, like, I don't know if it was his acting style, but like he had like really had like a dark past, and like you could tell like he wasn't, a lot of times he was just living in that emotional headspace of being like a bad guy. And like I would talk to him about it, and I was kind of like asking for some tips, and the way he coached me to get into that headspace, and like we did this one night shoot where I was just like in that headspace the whole time of just being a real bad guy and like thinking about it that way. Dude, it took me like 2 or 3 days to feel better in my soul. Like,
wow.
I really don't enjoy getting into that headspace, you know, because it really affected me for days.
You know, when you said that, that kind of reminded me of Heath Ledger and how what happened to him and how he got so invested into that role that I think it eventually consumed him. I mean, when you go down that path, sometimes it, you know, just eats you up alive. I like that analogy. Very interesting.
Yeah,
good stuff. But
yeah, I prefer being positive, you know,
well,
believing in what I'm fighting for, you know. That's why I love the YouTube thing. It's like I get to share inspiration, you know.
It's a good outlet, you know.
Yeah,
really good outlet. Good answers.
And so I'm really happy you're doing YouTube now as well, dude.
Oh, thank you. Really when you suggested doing the vlog, and I was just telling my buddies today about it, I'm like, the vlog is a great idea. One, it's a great way to just, you know, add new content, but it also acts as an archive to show this is where I started, and now look at where I'm at. And it's just a great way to keep that progress going. It motivates me too. It's like, man, love it.
Yeah, man. No, I love what you're doing. And congrats on your channel. It's been growing too. Like I haven't seen your channel a little bit, and once you sent me the link, I was like, oh, you got over 400 subscribers. Hell yeah.
Thank you. Slowly but surely, you know. Hey,
yeah.
And it's not about that. It's about just connecting with people and like we're doing here, having good conversations. So I love it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, it's so important not to focus on the subscribers as well. Like I know we're kind of going off on a segue right now about YouTube, but by the way, if anybody's watching us that is from my channel, if you like our conversation, definitely check out Daniel's channel. He's a good guy. But yeah, like as far as like making content and not focusing on subscribers, that's like a really, really tough lesson I've had to relearn and relearn. You know, it's number one, you don't get like, it's not about how many people follow you really. It's about like the creative outlet, like trying to build something where you can just, at least for me, it's being able to just express myself and like have enough motivation from what I make to continue doing it. And that's what keeps me happy. So yeah, that was a segue.
Great stuff. That's okay. But the next question that I did want to ask, some advice. Any advice for individuals looking to get involved in the stunts/acting scene? Because you're, like I said, I went to you for advice, and it was some of the best stuff I've ever gotten. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah, of course. Cool. Let me just look at my notes because.
Yep.
Thank you for sending me these questions in advance a little bit.
Absolutely.
Cool. So my advice, once again, it's like there's two parts to it. I would say there's the advice for people that, you know, are just kind of want to play with it, want to learn. There's like the overall advice. And then there's the physical advice to somebody that's actually going to move out to LA to do stuff, which is kind of, I guess, harder to give. But my biggest advice to anybody, if they want to get involved in stunts or acting or anything, honestly, is really like make your own content. That's the biggest number one thing I can advise to people that want to, like, you know, become even if they just wanted to be a stunt performer, they don't want to do stuff, like you still have to create your own content. And the reason is, first of all, you will learn your craft. Whether, you know, if you just want to do fights and you just want to do stunts, you don't care about the filmmaking, it'll still force you to learn about the filmmaking because that's part of it. You have to learn how you look on camera, how everything works, how, you know, you have to learn all of that. So when you make your own content, you will learn your craft. You will get exposure because you're going to be putting stuff up. You're going to get feedback, but you're also going to you're just going to start building exposure for yourself, and you will make friends. And that's like the biggest, it's really, really, really important to make friends, you know, in a business. And it's like, if you're trying to be a stunt performer or an actor, it's all networking, you know. That's like the other part of the advice, like for people who actually move out to a production hub, because if you live like somewhere where there's not really many productions happening, it's much harder and there's less creative people around you to kind of like keep you in that headspace and kind of be going on that path. So if you're trying to do that, like people usually move out to a production hub like Los Angeles or New York or Atlanta or somewhere like that. And the biggest thing is networking, you know? So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's really important to make friends. And if you make your own content, you can be making friends the whole time. And the other thing is the first 3 to 5 years is a big hurdle for people that actually do move out. You have to have enough drive to get you through it. When I moved out here, I first thought to myself that, oh, it's just going to take me like, you know, I'm just going to try for a year and see how I do. And if it doesn't work, I'll just move away. And then like reality is that if you're lucky, it takes you 3 to 5 years, you know?
Wow.
The average is about 5 to 7 years to actually establish yourself enough to where you're not having to do a second job. You're not struggling for money, you know, because it's still a creative field and it's not consistent. Like last year, I think there was one part where I didn't work for a month and a half, you know? So it's like, you're on top of the world, you're making money, you're working, you have savings, and then month and a half of nothing. So like, so for people that actually want to physically do it, make sure you're good with your money. Don't just blow it all, you know, save, meet people, network, make friends. You have to, and also it's like establishing relationships. Like you have to lead with value for people. Like, you know this, like,
yes,
you don't just like meet someone and go, hey, what can you do for me? You know?
Oh no.
Or you don't just go, hi, this is, you know, at first I used to do this. I'd be like, hi, my name is Rustic. Here's my resume. If you want it, I'm available. It's like, nobody cares if you're available. It's more like what you could do for people, you know? So it's like doing people favors, like kind of what you're doing with your thing. You're learning learning how to do action, and you're also volunteering your time to help people with their projects, you know? And some of the stuff, and it's like you're basically doing stuff that may not pay off for a couple of years. Yeah. But those things do come around in the end. But it's like you have to have like the right, what's the word?
Mindset? Yeah,
mindset, yeah. And also, yeah, even then, making your own content is still the biggest thing. This is the last thing I want to say. I know I'm like rambling. Making content. So any advice for people wanting to get involved in the stunts acting scene is make your own stuff all the time, every day, whether or not you're just writing something, whether or not you have a phone conversation with someone, whether you go film something or train. Even training is you still making your own. You have to do something every single day. And basically, the other thing I want to say is the whole industry is changing, the film industry. And it's already changed a lot ever since the internet came around and social media. But like a lot of the people that moved to LA and Hollywood are following advice from like other people that think Hollywood is still in the 80s. You know, like the best time to move out to Hollywood was in the 80s. Like if you want to just move out here, just network and just try to make it, that was the 80s. Right now there's like thousands of people moving here every year, you know, thousands moving back as well. But the real key though is it's not all doom and gloom. The real key is make your own content. It's evolving. It's changed. It's not gone. It's changed. And everything is about making your own content. Like even when you go on auditions, sometimes people will ask, how many followers do you have on Instagram? How many followers do you have on YouTube? Like this is starting to be like that. So yeah, just make your own content.
Nice. Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff all around. All right, next question here. Well, I'm glad you brought up California because I was going to ask, how vibrant is the acting scene in California?
Cool. The acting scene in California. Well, personally, I'm not that deep in the acting scene here yet. You know, I'm a stunt performer and a content creator. I'm just kind of getting into acting. But I would say it's pretty vibrant. It also depends which area of the city you're in, like in LA. Like I personally live on the outskirts because I like having like nature and my own space. It's a little cheaper, but I know there's a lot, like if you live in the city, like in like Hollywood or West Hollywood or like Santa Monica, it's very like vibrant. Like my brother just moved out here. His name is Michael, and he's actually getting into acting, and he's living down that end of town. And basically there's stuff happening all around. People are buzzing. There's always ideas of creative people. Yeah, but how vibrant is the acting scene in California? I would say it's pretty vibrant, but there's also a lot of talkers.
Yeah.
And that applies not just to actors, that's to everybody that wants to do something in the film industry. The majority of people in Hollywood are talkers. I've been in here for almost 8 years, and I'm being completely honest when I say this. I've met the amount of people that follow through on their word, that don't just talk, that kind of like want to honestly create, and that I gel with. I could probably like five, maybe five, maybe a handful of people that I've met in 8 years that I still keep in touch with, that I can actually create. So there's a lot of talkers, but there are also really legit people out here. And it's just kind of like, I guess part of growing up is learning who's going to be dependable and that kind of stuff. But it is definitely still a good place for opportunity for a person with good work ethic and social skills. That's what it is. So yeah, when I say like, I take everything I say with a grain of salt, you know, about like moving out to California, but for somebody with good work ethic and good like follow through and like integrity, it's still possible for sure. But there's a lot of talkers.
Well, like you said, the three big hubs, right, are New York, Atlanta, and California.
Yeah, right now.
Which one would you say would be? I think California would be. I'd put that at number one if I was ranking them, and New York 2, and then Atlanta 3. If you had to rank them, you know.
Well, what would we be ranking them by? I guess what's the goal?
I'm thinking like opportunities, you know, career potential, you know, gigs, whatever's available out there. Yeah,
okay,
you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say because I haven't actually lived in New York or Atlanta in the film industry. You know, I have a couple of friends that moved to Atlanta and New York, and they love it. I would say Los Angeles is the biggest as far as the amount of people here, but that also means that basically, like, have you ever heard the expression big fish in a small pond, or like little fish in a big pond? Or, well, if you think about LA is like, in my mind, LA is a giant pond with a ton of giant fish, right? Like when it happened to me, it was kind of like a shock. When I moved from Scotland to here, when Scotland, in that city I was in, I started a parkour club. I had all these different things. I was meeting with people. I was having jams with people all over the country. I was having newspapers come by. It was no problem to email a newspaper that'd show up. You have like 2 or 3 articles about you that day because you're doing some sort of event. It's like big fish, small pond, right? Move out here, nobody cares. Like the competition is crazy in LA. I would say like for somebody, if they're trying to like grow and get like more experience, and I would say if they already have some sort of like skills that they're good at, I would maybe suggest actually going to like LA, because not LA, Atlanta, because basically the majority of movies film outside of LA. LA is becoming very, very expensive to film in. The majority of stuff that films here now is like TV shows and commercials, and they cast actors out of here to go to work on movies like in Atlanta and New York and outside the country. But as far as like the stunt people I know that moved to Atlanta, as soon as they move there, it's like they're all of a sudden, like if here somebody, like there's nobody in particular I'm thinking of, but like if somebody here is like an average stunt person and they move to Atlanta, from what I've heard, all of a sudden they're in like the top 10% of performers, just because like the amount of like how hard it is out here. I guess out here you just cut your teeth and you have to compete really, really hard to get better. But like if you go out there, like I had a buddy that went there a couple of years ago. I don't know if this is still the case, but he went there to just visit, and he went to like a stunt gym, and he was just doing like some really basic parkour. He was just doing like a vault and like landing on a wall or like doing some flips. And like there was a couple of stunt people there that were asking him like, dude, where did you get so good at parkour? How did you get so good? And he's just, and over here, like, I know this guy, he's like, he doesn't even do parkour, you know? It's like, so I'm not really trying to talk anything bad about any performers anywhere else, but I'm just saying Los Angeles itself is full of crazy talented people that are all competing for a little amount of jobs. Whereas in Atlanta, from what I've heard, in New York, for a stunt performer, there's a lot more jobs. And if you're at all competent socially and physically, there's just jobs to be had. Like I had a friend that moved out there. 3 months later, he bought a house. It's like,
whoa, Jeez.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Networking is so important. I can't stress it enough. Like I said, that's gotten me the opportunities that I've had up here in Akron and Cleveland. So it can be done. And like I said, I love this quote. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. You really can. You may have to work hard at it, but if you scratch and claw and put your passion, your heart into it, dreams will come true. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but it is true.
Right. Yeah. Like when you basically, what you're saying is, when you want something enough,
yep,
and you plan it out enough and you put the work in towards it enough, it's no longer a dream. It's now just a reality that's a certain amount of steps away. So it's basically like you have a dream, you make a plan. We've all heard this a bunch of times. You have something, you go towards it, you make a plan, and you just keep putting energy towards it, and all of a sudden it becomes a reality. All of a sudden that door that was in the clouds is like right here. You have to just find the right key for it, or like you have to, you unlock it. There's another door that opens or closes. So it's always one step at a time. But I love what you said. Yeah, like depending on what you want, but it's also hard to figure out what you want sometimes. Like,
yeah,
you're still figuring out.
Oh, every day it's like, oh man, life, and it's amazing how life leads you down a certain path. Like, who would have thought I'd be up here with the Kane Action team working on projects? But I talked with you. I talked about my passion, and that's where I said I should probably go for it. And then from there, you recommended me to some people, and then I met Matt, and then boom, here I am. It's amazing how it works out. It truly is.
Nice,
man. So
yeah, man. And that's good on you too. It's like what I'm saying. There's people that just have follow through and just try stuff. You can't overthink it. You just do one step at a time. Like, you don't know what door's going to open. You don't have to have a perfect plan for it. You just have to take that first. What is that first step? Like, and I had to relearn this every day. Like, I have to relearn this like on a weekly basis. It's like, I made a video a couple of weeks ago called Bitch Lasagna. It's like a parody of the PewDiePie video, where I kind of made like a cover of it. I wrote all new lyrics, but that didn't happen because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this whole video and it's going to be like this. That was me being like, I sat in that chair for like 2 hours one day and was like, I'm just going to try to be in the flow and see what happens. So I started thinking about new lyrics. So I was like, okay, I wrote some lyrics. Then that evening I was like, then it's like the next step became apparent. It's like, okay, well, now I could just type them out. Okay, I typed them out. The next evening I was talking to a couple of friends and I was telling them my idea, and they loved it. And they were like, you got to film this. And I was like, okay, I guess tomorrow I'm going to record this no matter what. And originally I was going to record it on this mic and just put it in Premiere Pro over the instrumental. And I did it in the morning, and then it sounded like crap. And I texted my buddy who's a producer, like a music producer. And I was like, hey, do you have any advice on recording at my house? Like, whatever. And once again, the next door opened only because I took that one step. What was that? Yeah, the next door opened, and he was just like, come over to my house at 8 and I'll help you record it. Wow. And then so we went over at 8. We started recording at like 9, finished by 1 a.m. The track was finished. The next day, then the next step became apparent. I was like, okay, Mary, my girlfriend, I was like, can you film this video for me tomorrow with me? Like, you could direct it. I just want to be funny with it. And so we did that one. And then we just step by step, you get like this amazing thing that comes out and that everybody's really happy with, So just basically just trusting the process and just focusing on one step at a time.
And taking that risk, because I was worried. I'm like, should I take the risk? And in the long run, it will pay off. Sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like most times, though, it will. You just got to trust yourself,
Yeah.
Now, kind of going off topic here, before I forget about this question, I know, there's a wrestling. I always find the wrestling connections here. I know you work with a professional wrestler named John Morrison.
Yes.
And it was with Boone the Bounty Hunter. Did I get that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that like? Because I'm sure some of my subscribers would be like, oh my God, he worked with John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, whatever his name is.
Johnny
he's got
Nitro.
A ton of different names.
He's got a new name now.
Yeah, I believe he's with Impact. He's been all over the place. Lucha Underground. He was with WWE. I always loved him just because of his athletic ability. He's incredible. But tell me about that, because I'm curious. What was that like working with him?
Well, it was, first of all, really cool. Like, he's an amazing human as far as like super motivated, super driven, but also like really present and like really, really nice. Like I kind of start, so basically Boone the Bounty Hunter, which you mentioned, is a movie that's on Netflix that I helped produce like 5 years ago. And what happened with that was I had a buddy of mine, his name is Brady Romberg. He's also a stunt performer and a producer. I was working with him closely. We were starting to like talk about making videos and doing stuff. And he had this idea because he knew John through like a family wedding they went to. And John wanted really to do like his first like lead role in a feature film because he wants, he wanted to move into more into acting. And so I was there I helped them out. I met John and Brady. We sat down and we talked about like what their idea for the movie was. Like they already had a script. And so then they kind of like hired me to help them make this pitch pack. So basically I went through and I made this packet of like this PDF that they could take and they get investors with. So basically through that whole process, we kind of got this movie going off the ground and we produced the whole feature film. It was an action comedy. It's kind of a B movie, but it knows it's a B movie, So it was really cool. And during the actual shoot, John is just like really cool. It's what's the interesting thing? I went to a party with him once. We were at my friend's house because he was also in the movie Hercules. I actually helped him. I recommended him to get that part, and he got it. So that's the one thing I helped.
Was that the one with the rock? The rocks?
There's a Hercules rock, and then there's another one that the Asylum made. The Asylum is this production company which made Sharknado. They just make a bunch of like movies every year, like 15 movies or something, and they made their own version of Hercules.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, we were at my friend's house because we got the DVD. We're gonna watch it, and John was. I found out that like at the time, I think he still doesn't. Like John doesn't actually drink, which was really interesting. So he's like really, he's like super ripped and he's like super talented as far as like parkour. That's another thing too. It's like he's a big guy, but the way he moves better than like I have ever moved doing like all these different stunts. And he's bigger and like super. He looks like a bodybuilder, but moves like a gazelle. Yeah, that's something that's like not a lot of people do that. And that's really, really, really impressive. And like, I don't really follow the WWE or wrestling, but from everybody else that I've seen or met, he is the real deal. Because I think what happened was he probably already had the skill set, and then he started the training and the bodybuilding around it, but kept it up and the flexibility, and now he has both. So.
Exactly. And like being a huge fan of wrestling, I've noticed and doing some of these moves myself, there's a lot of similarities between stunts and professional wrestling. I mean, I don't know if you've ever noticed that connection. I mentioned it to you before, but I think that's why some wrestlers, succeed so well in the acting side of things because, they're doing this on a night in, night out basis and they know how to take bumps and flips and all these other types of things. The biggest difference, though, is when you're wrestling, there's no cut. There's no when you do it live, and even if you screw up. So it's something I would like to try, and that's a goal of mine. One day I want to get in the ring, so we'll see. But that's awesome. It really is.
Dude, no, go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to. You're good.
No, good. Yeah, no, I was gonna add on to that and say that I would wager that professional wrestling is harder than stunts because they're going for real and they're beating their bodies up and they're going every day for like, what do they do? Like 5 or 6 days a week. Like they leave
300 nights. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like John was telling me like his schedule when he was in WWE was like, I'm probably going to mess it up, but it was something like he would leave his house for a flight on like Monday or something. Yep. And then wouldn't get back until like Saturday and then have one day back and then back to it. It's like every night there's shows and actually I did like when we were developing the movie that we did, I went to a wrestling school with John and we kind of filmed a couple of things to show like him and his friend like fighting just for concepts for the movie. And after we did that, I got to play wrestle John a little bit. He was like, "Yeah, get in here, man." I had him up by the camera.
Really?
He filmed us like play wrestling. It's actually in one of my videos from a little bit ago when I kind of mentioned that. I think it was in the Hold My Beer review video. I kind of go off on a tangent about John for a second, but dude, I noticed like, so I was I was still like a new stunt performer at the time, but like we were just play wrestling and like just moving. I was only doing it for like a minute and a half. I was like worn out, burned out, just moving around and pretending to be doing stuff. And he was like, yeah, this just keep going. It's like their fitness level is like this. And they do a lot of stuff for real. Like they'll do like some of the stuff they do, like the chair stuff, or can you imagine like doing a double backflip and landing on somebody like this in the spur of the moment? No, man, they hurt themselves a lot more than stunt performers, but they like just grit their teeth. I would say they're more like professional football players.
That's I mean, it's the night in, night out grind, taking those bumps. Like I've taken a couple. I've been suplexed and thrown around. And imagine doing that on a night in, night out basis. That's what wears your body down. And it's just like, man. And I was going to ask you, when you were with John Morrison, did you take any, they're called bumps, any moves like a suplex or like a, I don't know, anything like that?
Actually, I think I can show. I think if you watch I can send you a clip, or I can show those clips. But basically, there's one part where I threw him because I have a judo background, so I got to throw him. And then there's one part where he like pushed me against. He started talking me through because I had no idea what I was doing. He was like, "No, man, just relax. Okay, now I'm gonna push you off the ropes, and you're gonna come back." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So like, push me. I bounced back, and I went back at him like this, and he like fell down. But I thought I was supposed to fall down. So we both fell down. It's like, wow.
Oh god.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything crazy to me. He just kind of like put me in a headlock, and then he was like, "Okay, now give me your arm." And he like put himself in a headlock. I was like, he's a really good guy. Like one of the best people I know. Yeah.
His agility is what always amazed me. Like he would do these crazy spots. I think in the Royal Rumble once where he was stuck on the barrier, did like a Spider-Man leap back into the ring. I'm just like, holy crap. He was always one of my favorites to watch when he was with WWE. Now he's with Impact. I believe he is the Impact Heavyweight Champion. I could be wrong because I don't watch TNA, but he's succeeding. What I love about him, he left WWE, but he goes to this company, that company. They're independent contractors, so hey, that's the fun thing about being a wrestler. You can be whoever you want to be, kind of like acting. Again, you can be whoever you have your character, your gimmick, and you roll with it. Good guy, bad guy. It's great. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's so cool, man. So do you do some wrestling too, or you kind of?
Well, Matt's suplexed me, and we've we play wrestle, mess around, and stuff like that. But I do want to get in the ring. It is a goal of mine.
Okay.
And I might be able to down the line. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We'll see. It would be so fun because I've never been in a wrestling ring ever. So to just do it as a fan, let alone to train, oh my god, that would be one of the best.
It's really fun because they're pretty padded, so it's really nice to fall on.
Really?
Like, hey. Yeah.
So it doesn't. Well, yeah, some of them maybe a little bit stiffer than others, but yeah, it's great stuff. So next question here. This is a good one. If you could star in any martial arts action movie, what would it be and why? If you pick anyone, go past, present, whatever. You get your pick.
Okay, this is a hard one. Okay, did you already ask me what my favorite action movie? Okay, that's next. Okay,
we'll come back to that one.
Okay. Any action movie. I didn't even answer this, so I would say, you mean like the ones that already exist? Like if I could like be the main person in whatever one exists, and why?
Who would you want to like star? With Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, fighting alongside him, fighting against them. You get the pick.
Man, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of really good action movies that I've seen recently. So it can be kind of hard to choose. But I think that for me personally, I would still say like I would love to do something with Jackie Chan. Like I know he's already older, but like if we're just being like, if we're doing a thought exercise of something that would be like a dream, it would be to be in a movie with Jackie Chan, like something like Rush Hour, because I love comedy.
Yes.
Like just to do some movie like Rush Hour would be amazing. I mean, for me, yeah.
Okay. Good answer. Coming back to this question, favorite action / martial arts movie of all time. If you want to give one answer for each or just together, it's however you want.
Okay. Now this one's hard because I actually wrote out. I was trying to pick one, and I just can't. I have like 6.
It's tough. I've noticed that asking this question is very tough.
Yeah. And I have to pick one.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
And if you want to tell us the other 5, feel free to go ahead, because I'm sure they're really good movies.
Okay. I'll just pick one based on your question, and then I'll list the other ones too later. Okay.
Cool.
So my favorite action martial arts movie of all time. You asked about, martial arts. And so I kind of would choose this one as my favorite because I love like the storytelling and the way, all the camera work, all the choreography, but also the way it kind of gripped me when I was watching it. It really made me like tear up in places, made me really cheer for the character in places. And for me, like story is really important. So for me, that movie was Ip Man. Like it's like spelled IP Man. Like if you, with Donnie Yen. Yeah. So like for me, I love that movie like a lot. But just because like, once again, it's focused on the real life story of Yip Man, he ended up being Bruce Lee's teacher later on down the line. He did like Wing Chun, and it kind of like follows like the story of like the World War. I think it was the first, maybe it was the Second World War, and he kind of comes back home. Yeah, just really good story. It's like really, it's in Chinese, I think, but it has like English subtitles. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just like rambling on about it, but no, I absolutely love it. If you haven't seen it, like definitely check it out, man. Donnie Yen is amazing in it. He plays the character, and then just some really good fights. Just really good moments, good storytelling. Yeah. Nice. And then do you want to know the other ones?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel free. I'm kind of curious.
Okay. Let's see how many of these you've seen. Okay. The Raid. You've seen The Raid, right? You haven't seen? Dang it. Okay. It's okay. It's really good. I love The Raid because of it's like a legit action movie. It's like it has a story, like a really basic story, but it doesn't like drag on too much. It doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It's just like, we're going to do amazing action. And they actually, at the time, they did a lot of unique things, like with the camera work and the performances. And basically everybody else started, like, even in the film industry, like I've watched people, and I did it myself. They kind of started wanting to emulate the style of the people in The Raid, like how fast they can go, what the choreography looks like, what the camera looks like, what the editing looks like. Just really, really well made movie, like action movie, I would say. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely want to check out. Then another one I would say is Kingsman. Have you seen Kingsman?
I've seen parts of it. The action scenes I really liked how they were shot. So bits and pieces.
Yeah. No, dude, I love Kingsman. I love the camera work, how it was shot, like the choreography. And yeah, I guess for me, I would say I like the story because it's kind of like a modern take on James Bond, like a little derivative. But it's really I love the camera work. I love the filmmaking in Kingsman. Once again, they did some, like, they really designed like their fight scene instead of just be like, because when you shoot a fight, you could be like you could think like a TV person and just be like, we're just going to shoot it wide, we're going to go over the shoulder, and we're going to go over the shoulder, and then we'll just figure it out in editing. A lot of people shoot that way, but Kingsman is for me the biggest example of when you're shooting like you're telling a story through the fight. If you have like 10, 15 moves, instead of just being like, oh, let's get it all from here and see whatever I can't get, I'll get from this side. It's more like, why is every move happening, and where is the best thing to see it from? And they also try to not cut too. That they'll try to like move with it. And like if at some points, I think the way they did it is the people like slow down so the camera can move a little bit, and then they'll like continue the motion. So like really, really masterful filmmaking, I would say. Then another movie, Who Am I? Jackie Chan. I mentioned it earlier. Once again, a lot of creative action design. And have you seen Hardcore Henry?
No.
So I keep asking you. Like Hardcore. So Hardcore Henry is really good. Once again, it's one of those where they have a story. They don't really focus on a story. It's more like I know I'm an action movie, so here's some action for you. And that's Hardcore Henry. And it's basically all first person. I don't know if you ever saw, there was a music video that went viral a couple years ago called Bad Motherfucker. I don't know if I can say it on your stream, but
absolutely.
Basically, it's like the Hardcore Henry is all first person. I don't know if they were shot on a GoPro or something, but it's like this guy like breaks out of this thing and like he's being chased by people, and like the whole movie is like a first person action scene. And it looks like there's no cuts. There are cuts, but they made it look like there's almost no cuts. So that's definitely one to check out. I wouldn't recommend watching it on a big screen though, like, or if it's on a big screen, back away from it a little bit, because I've heard people that watched it on a movie screen would like get nauseous. And then obviously also John Wick. Have you seen John Wick?
I was waiting for it. There it is. Yes, I seen that movie.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Yes.
Woo.
Yeah, man, I love John Wick. Why do you like John Wick?
Well, one reason, the action and what they were able to do with that. It's Keanu Reeves, fantastic. Nobody told me this when I was watching it. William Dafoe is in it. I'm like, ooh, that was a nice surprise. And the story I thought was good. Yeah, I'm like, I didn't expect them because I just watched it blindly with no research. I'm like, holy crap, just great direction and unique action. And I got to see 2 because we got 3 coming out in May, and I know you did a video on it breaking down the trailer, which is good. Check that out on his channel. Great stuff. One of the best action movies I've seen. Wow.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. I personally, when I watched the first John Wick, like it just immediately captivated me because my biggest martial arts background is judo. So for me, like watching them incorporate so many like different throws and like judo throws that I knew, I was like, oh, I know that one. I thought, oh, and they put it all into like gunfights. I'm like, holy snap, you know. Damn. So I love that they incorporated, and also like I talk about it in that video you just mentioned, but like the team behind John Wick is, I think, like the best action team it's in Hollywood. You know, they're called 8711, and they have a warehouse where they live and breathe. They don't live there, but they just like they train like, you know, every day. And they develop actors like Keanu Reeves would go there to train with them for the movie. Like they develop all the action there. It's like, it's a super like well-oiled like action team, you know, and they're pretty good at that. They're pretty good at action. and then like the John Wick, the storytelling, I thought, especially in the first John Wick, I didn't personally like the storytelling in the second one as much. I wonder what the third one's going to be. But the first one, I did like it too, like the way they set it up. With how with
his dog getting killed, ooh, that really tugged at my heartstrings. I wasn't ready for it. No, not the dog. Nobody told me. I needed a warning or something.
It was in a trailer.
Like, oh man. Well, that was the one thing. Look, I'm glad you brought up trailers, because a problem I've noticed with trailers nowadays, does it mean they just spoil way too much in the trailer anymore? Does that bother you at all?
Yeah,
way too much.
Yeah, man, it does. It's like some trailers I watch, and it's like, dude, I don't even need to go to the movie theater anymore. Like,
yeah, that's like Jurassic World, you know, Fallen Kingdom, which I like less and less and less. I've watched that movie. I'm like 90% of this I've seen, so I'm not even. What happened to the days when you walked in? Oh my God, this happened, or this guy turned, or the bad. You know, it's just like it ruins it for him. Why do you have to do that? You know, you're gonna make a boatload of money as it is. Do you have to spoil everything? And apparently the answer is yes.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess if I was gonna play devil's advocate, it's also the way, like, if we're talking about YouTube and stuff, right? It's the way people consume media these days. Like, I don't know if people have time, like, because before you would see a trailer on, like, first of all, you couldn't skip it. You would see like a commercial for a movie on a TV show you're watching, you know, so you'd watch the whole thing, and then there'd be enough time in there for them to give you some intrigue, and you'd be like, oh, I'm kind of curious about that. Now it's like trailers is basically the only time you see trailers on YouTube, and you could skip it in 5 seconds. That's true. So they got to be like, this is what this is about. Like, have you noticed those little mini previews they have on trailers now? It's like the first 5 seconds is like, and it's like, this is the trailer. So it's like, I think it's changing as far as like what the medium is affecting the expression a little bit, you know. But I mean, it's still kind of sucks sometimes where you see the trailer, you're like, dude, so now I know what this is about. But sometimes it'll trick you. I forget what movies, but sometimes there's a movie where you'll see the trailer and you're like, wow, I know what happens. And then you watch it and it's like, holy shit.
Okay, so they didn't spoil everything.
Right, but those are usually the stuff where there's like a big twist, you know? So
Yeah.
like when that happens, that's a nice surprise. But like, yeah, like with John Wick, like the third trailer, it's like I love it. I'm gonna see it.
Oh yeah.
But like they show you what happens basically. They're like, he's breaking out of New York and this is gonna happen, and this one, and oh, look at all this action. But then again, it's what is a trailer supposed to do? It's kind of supposed to tease you and be like, this is what you can see. It's an advertisement.
Tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you say. I see the both sides, but I'd like less. So maybe I'll just skip watching the trailers from here on out. Because like I said, that was a big issue I had with Fallen Kingdom. Like the 90% of the movie, I'm just like,
what's
not good.
Kingdom? I haven't seen Fallen Kingdom.
Don't see. I'm a Jurassic Park. I'm a nerd. I'm a mark for Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic Park Fallen. Is that the new Jurassic Park?
Yeah, it's. Yeah. See, the problem is, you know how some movies you like more when you watch it. This one does the opposite. I like it less and less.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the story was all over the place. It's like, what the hell are we where are we going? I know where you know what they said? We wanted to make this movie so we could make the third movie. So basically that was like, we didn't really want to do this, except we had to in order to get where we really want to go in part 3.
I remember that.
Why would you do that? And it's just like they're selling dinosaurs and these over-the-top cartoon villains, and that's not Jurassic Park for me. The original, which is my favorite film of all time, by the way, you know why that movie works? Good characters, practical effects, along with CGI. Spielberg was smart. For the up-close shots, he used the practical effects, like the big T-Rex that Stan Winston created. And then for the farther away shots, the Brachiosaurus, the T-Rex escaping out of the paddock, CGI. I wish. Yeah, and the Raptors. I think they had people in suits and stuff. It's amazing how that stuff holds up better than the new stuff because it's all CGI. I don't know if that's enough. Does the overabundance of CGI bother you in films?
Yeah, man. I have a lot of friends that are in the Marvel movies, but like I literally don't watch them. I think the last Marvel movie I saw was Iron Man 2. It was all right, but like I don't watch them. I can't. I tried watching Captain America. I'm like sitting there like 20 minutes in. I'm like, okay, this is just boring. First of all, I mean, I guess there's two parts to it. There's the fact that it gets boring, like in Marvel movies, but the second one is like, like they start just doing it just for the sake of it. Like I actually did see Fallen Kingdom. I remember now. And it's like, it becomes like this crutch. And you hear this on set too. Like in Hollywood, people like lazy directors go, we'll fix it in post. And I really hate that. Like as me myself, like, cause I'm directing stuff. As a director, it's like, you have the responsibility to tell the best story you can. And you should have the responsibility. The reason you have that job is because you should be, trained enough in order to tell a story, know your craft, work on your craft to be able to like do the best you can in the camera, you know, like in the storytelling. That's the number one. I think that's what gets lost whenever, you know, and then it gets bloated too. It's like you have whole warehouses of people whose job it is to do CGI. And so when it's that easy for you, you're just like, I might as well just doing CGI. But yeah, I see what you're saying about Jurassic Park. I wish that more people would focus on real filmmaking, you know. That's what I love. That's what I love about YouTube. That's if I could like segue back in. It's like I love YouTube because we're creating content and we have to do it smartly. Like you sit down and you go, okay, this is my idea. This is how I'm going to tell it. And you learn your software and you learn what you can do, what you can't do, and just like, and even like the new style with like memes and stuff. I love it because you're doing what you can. You're doing just the amount of work that you need to do to get your idea across and to make the most impact. You know, you're not just, I mean, sometimes you do this. Sometimes I've done this before where you just go off and like you do all this like CGI for video, which I've done before where like nobody's going to even notice. It's like you do frame by frame and you make it all perfect for like this one effect. And then in reality, it's like a second of screen time. Nobody really cared, you know, it really makes you focus on what's important. And that's why I love creating for YouTube.
Nice. Oh crap. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, Okay, it's back. The hallway fight. You want to talk about that? Your latest video upload? Because I thought that was some really good stuff that you posted.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
I'd love to talk about it. Yeah, so basically, on my channel, I have a fight scene that me and my friend Peter Jang, we were the fighters in it. We filmed that over a year ago. But basically, we play these two assassins, and we're fighting each other in a hallway in this like abandoned place with like knives. Like it was really really intense. And as far as talking about it, yeah, like it was. I think it's still to this day. I think it's probably the most involved and intense fight, and the one that I'm most happy with that I've done so far, because we had creative control the whole time. You know, because it was our own project, we were able to focus on just doing the best job that we could. Peter, my buddy, actually, he put together the choreography. So for me, it was nice because I just kind of showed up and, well, we kind of worked through some stuff, because when you put together choreography, you kind of have to like still adjust for the other person, like how their body moves. So we kind of made some adjustments, but it was really nice to just hop in. He already had this like, I don't know, it was like 80 or 90 beat fight. And we just like, we ran through it. We got in a muscle memory and we just like shot that shit. Like we did it in like 2 or 3 hours, I think. And yeah, it was intense. Like I love that style. Like I love that style. And my buddy Justin Gant, he was the guy that was like the DP that day, the director of photography. And he just, it was just a good, like all of us came together at the right time with the right mindset to put together like a really, really good fight scene, you know? And I want to do more, actually. I want to do another one with Justin. We're talking about it.
Just amazing how fluid you guys are. You make it like seamless, boom, 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 and that's just intense. That's another good word I could use to describe. It's a very intense fight scene. I can't wait to see the rest of the film. It's got me pumped. That was a good. You want to talk about a good teaser trailer? That was a very good teaser trailer.
Yes, I'm so happy. I hope Peter hears you say that. I'm actually going to send this live stream to him because, nice. Yeah, I'm glad I convinced him to finally let me upload it. So yeah, it's gonna be part of a bigger short. We're gonna film. We have to film another scene for it, I think, this month, just to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. It's funny because we filmed like a year ago, and then early last year in 2018, I was doubling this actor, and I had to shave my head, and so then like I didn't have this look anymore. Like that fight, I look like this.
Yeah.
But now that my hair grew back, my facial hair grew back, we can go film the other scenes. Because what happened was also I wouldn't match. So like we filmed,
continuity.
We filmed that like in November 2017, and then in January 2018, I was doubling an actor, so I had to do it for a job, and then I don't know. I've totally lost my train of thought.
That's okay. Hey, it happens sometimes. Happens to me. But if you have nothing else to add, I got another question for you off the top of my head. This is a good one. What was the most difficult stunt you ever had to perform, and why? And how did you get through it? Like if you had to pick, like, man, this one was challenging, but I was able to overcome that, and it looked great on film.
You know, it's funny. I get this question a lot, and you would think that after 8 years, I would have like a solid answer right away. Great question, man. I would say there's always two parts to my answers, man. It's funny. So there was one that was scary, and there was one that was also scary, I guess. Okay. So the biggest one, this was for like movie. No, it wasn't a movie. It was like a short film. It was also like a teaser commercial for Madden, the football game, in like 2018, I think. And I was being pulled back on a wire through a warehouse 50 feet backwards, so I couldn't see. It was on a button, like, and I just went, and basically, if you can imagine right behind me, if I'm going right backwards, basically, where the camera is right now is a camera crane. So like within arm's reach, there's this camera this size on a camera crane that on the press of the button, it's going to go just as fast as me at me. So it followed me the whole time. which by the way, I think was a really wrong way to shoot that scene, which is why it didn't look that good on camera, but you see it in my reel. But because if you have somebody going through like a really far distance, you want to show the distance, you know, but they decided to just shoot it with me going backwards. But so I had a camera crane following me, and then behind me, I had maybe like, if I put my arms out like this, I would clip, there was like pillars. So they were so close to me that if I put my arms out, I would have clipped them. So I had to like, and 50 feet means that like, I don't know if you can imagine 50 feet, but like,
yeah,
like half a football field back there, there's a mat to catch me, but I have to go over some railings between these pillars straight back. And I'm afraid that if I'm standing here, and even if I'm off an inch this way, the middle pick point of the thing would have sent me off, like missed the pad, you know? So it was just nerve-wracking as far as like trusting the stunt coordinator, trusting everybody to just like stand there and then get kicked. It was actually, I got kicked by McLovin from Superbad. He was, he had this, like, he grabbed this fan out of the wall and like flew on it and it kicked me. It was like a crazy short film. But so that was scary for me as far as like, am I going to die? There's some parts to doing stunts, and it happened to me a handful of times so far, where you're standing there and you go, why am I here? Like, why am I not like teaching little kids how to read in like Japan or something? You know, it's like, do I need this?
Yeah.
Like, that was one of those moments. And, you know, we did it. It was fine. Like, also, this is also what happens. Like, usually after that, everything goes fine. And then you got the adrenaline and you're like, hey, let's do another 2. That's what happened with me. So we did it like 3 or 4 times. After the first one, everything was fine. Everything was safe. But yeah, that was definitely one of those moments where, as a stuntman, it was like, man, this is what I get paid for. Like, this is why you get paid. This is why I'm here. Yeah. But nice. So that was that one. And then personally, my favorite one, as far as like what was also scary to me at the time, but what I think looked really cool, is there's this one shot in my reel where I hit a tree and I spin and fall to the ground. And at the time, that was the first time I ever done that. And so I went to the gym and I put up like a foam block and I ran at it and I jumped sideways. So my body is like, this is me running forwards. There's a tree. I jump sideways and I turn my back. So I clip it like this and I spin around and fall and hit the ground. And that was just really fun to do in the gym. And then on the day when I was doing it, once again, I was like scared. I was like, oh shit. Just run, jump, do it. Yeah, but that was really fun. And I think as far as looking the coolest on camera, in my opinion, I think that was the coolest rec I've done.
Nice. Well, another question here I had for you. Speaking of pain, because we've all been hurt as stuntmen. That's what we sign up for. It's part of the job. Have you ever had an instance where in the middle of a shoot, you get hurt? Maybe it's something minor. Maybe like, you get hit in the nose or the eye or something, but you got to keep going. You ever had that instance where you're like, oh man, I can't stop because it would mess up the whole shoot? Have you ever been in an instance like that where it's like,
yeah, man,
if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. What happens? Yeah, I've been hit numerous times by like actors, because stunt people, we spend a lot of time practicing distancing. We know exactly, how we're not going to hit somebody in the face. We know what to do. So like a lot of times when you're doing something with an actor or somebody that's newer, you can get clipped in the face, So I've been clipped in the face a bunch of times, not a bunch of times, maybe like I've been probably hit good maybe like 3 or 4 times. When that happens though, I don't know if you've ever been in like a boxing match or like a martial arts fight or something like that, or like a real fight, but like it's like it didn't happen, it's like adrenaline.
Yep.
It's like you're in a fight scene, it's like, oh, whatever, let's keep going, so it never really was painful. But there was one occasion when I first moved out here, I was really inexperienced and I decided to do this one stunt that I shouldn't have done. I just didn't know how physics worked at the time. And so like we were doing this fight short with a couple of friends. Like we just kind of found this like warehouse and we decided to do this underground fighting ring arena. So everybody got to fight each other. And I did this stunt where in the middle of the fight, I do like a spinning hook kick. So I spin around on one foot and I lift my leg, I hook. And the other guy's supposed to sweep underneath and sweep the leg that I'm standing on out from under me. So if this is my up foot that's up, this one's down, I would go. So I spin, I get hit, and I'm supposed to spin down to my back like this, you know? And once again, I was super inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing. This was me basically saying, I'm just going to go for it, you know, just ego. This is another thing. There's no ego in stunts. There's different schools of thought, but my school of thought is no ego. That's how you get hurt. That's why I'm not the old school type of stuntman person that's going to be doing stunts for the rest for forever, because that I don't have that mentality of just like, I'm just going to do it, man. It's more like, for me, it's more like trying to actually do stuff that looks good on camera, but it's also a craft and a skill that you develop. That, you know, there's all this stuff about it. But going back to my story, I didn't know what I was doing. I was following the ego train of thought, and I was like, fuck it, let's just go for it. And so he swept the thing. I went up. There was like a little pad, maybe like 2 or 3 inches under some cardboard. But like I went directly onto this shoulder, just like wham, like directly like into the concrete, right through. Boom. I'm pretty sure I separated it. And I stood up, painful. Once again, my ego and adrenaline kept me going. And so I still had to finish the fight. This was like still half a fight to do. And so I'm literally doing the fight like this. Like I'm in the ring, like swinging my arm. Like it was like this. It wouldn't lift. Like, so like for the parts where I had to punch, I would literally go like this. And like, yeah, so that was really, really painful and a really bad experience. And I would not recommend anybody ever do anything in a fight scene or a stunt that they're not comfortable doing, that they haven't practiced.
That's advice I've heard too. If you're not comfortable with it, just say no. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? That's great advice.
It's life or death, man. I could have fell on my head or something. Like, it doesn't take much.
You never know.
You know? And like, so that, and then I guess to finish the story up, now my shoulder's fine, but like, I basically didn't have health insurance at the time. So I just put it in like a self-made scarf sling. And I was walking around for a week, and then I couldn't raise my arm past here. And the thing that helped me a lot was hot yoga. So there's this place in Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles called Core Power. So they had this like free week trial thing. And when I went in there, I couldn't raise my arm past this. I did hot yoga for like 5 or 6 days in that week. And by the end of the week, it was once again back to normal.
Wow.
So yeah, hot yoga helps everything. So if anybody is doing any sort of physical training, like, or going to get any injuries, hot yoga.
Nice. Have you ever, you do kickboxing too, by the way, right?
Yeah.
That's another good way to,
Yeah, for sure. I train at the UFC gym right now, so luckily they have everything. So the past couple of days I've been doing boxing there. So there's boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, and they have this really cool training class. It's kind of like CrossFit. It's called DUT, Daily Ultimate Training. So yeah, man, I like classes in gyms. Like as far as like fitness goes, for stunts, it's like very self-motivated. But I love the UFC because when you find a good class, good gym that has like classes that are legit, that like no matter what, you show up for an hour, as long as you show up, you're gonna leave there like with a glow on your face, and you're like, oh, I almost died, but I'm fine. And you know, that does.
Yeah. Work. Have you ever tried CrossFit? I think, no.
Yeah. Yes. No, I haven't went to a CrossFit gym, but yeah, I've done those types of workouts, circuit training, high intensity interval training. But I'd love to though. They're just really, really expensive in LA. I don't know what they're like in Pittsburgh, but like the one next to my house is like, it's like 180 a month or something.
Whoa.
Ooh,
yeah. That's a good amount. Yeah.
I mean, it's
definitely.
I pay like 54 right now to go to UFC. So it's like, that's still more than like a regular gym, which is like $20, you know? I think it's worth it. I think if you're getting something out of it, and if you're just going to go every day, it's worth it. Like right now I'm considering signing up for a hot yoga membership and you know, their monthly is like $90 a month. It's like, as long as you're going to get what you need out of it, I think it's an investment. That's another thing. Is like you're investing in yourself. Like if my job currently is my body, so something I do, as long as I commit to it with that, it's an investment, you know?
Nice.
But yeah, to answer your question, I haven't done CrossFit. Go ahead.
Sorry, I gotta plug my laptop in so the battery
Okay.
doesn't die. So keep talking. I'll be right. Take me like 1 second here.
All right, everybody. Hello. Let's say hi to the chat. If there's anybody listening, say hello.
Okay.
So thank you to Granny Pottymouth. She's an amazing channel. I met her at VidCon. Thanks for stopping in. If you're still here, and my brother Roman's watching too.
Sasha says, great interview.
Oh, thanks, Sasha. Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Dude, I love the podcast.
But,
I would love to do a podcast. This is like a really good format for content.
That's what I feel. That's what I love about it. I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I listen to as many as I can. There's so many out there. That's the problem. There's just not enough time.
You listen to Joe Rogan?
No, but I know about Joe. I know he has a show, and that's probably what you're referring to. But he's a really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, he has a podcast.
What's the name? Is it
the Joe Rogan podcast? I think it's the #1 podcast on iTunes.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, check it out.
I mainly. Well, you can guess what you probably know what I listen to mainly. Wrestling podcast. I mean, come on.
Nice.
I'm a wrestling mark. I can't help it. So that's my gimmick, and I live it up every single day.
Hell yeah.
So,
dude.
But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I'm trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. But yeah, like you said, the training, like that is so important. Like I have my routine now, hit the gym for an hour a day, do about 30 minutes with the bag, do my kicks. I'm learning my trick kicks now. Shout out to my bro, Ben Garten, who showed me those. So I'm learning the spinning hook kick, the jump round, the tsunami, and the tornado kicks. Are you familiar with those?
Yeah, man. It's really good. I love tricking. Tricking is the thing that I did alongside with parkour. Like, absolutely amazing skill set to have. Yeah, I love my favorite. I love spinning hook kicks. I love aerials. I love tornado kicks. Once you get really good at tornado kicks, which is like a jumping, for you guys that don't know, tornado is you spin around, you jump up, you do a roundhouse kick, and then that's basically a tornado. But a 540 is the next level up from it. It's whenever you learn how to take off your kicking leg, kick, and then land back on the kicking leg.
Yes.
So yeah, Gator Tornado is really nice, and it's actually not that hard to transition. But I love tricking. No. I'm not glad you brought it up.
Good stuff. Have you ever done the? This is one of my favorite moves. I don't know why, for what reason, but I really like the Hong Kong twist. You ever do that move?
I have done it before. I don't like it.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't like it.
I just think it looks really cool.
I think it looks really cool as well. I think I have some PTSD from that one time that I did that thing I told you about where I landed on my shoulder, because I was basically supposed to be like into a Hong Kong. I can do them. I just don't enjoy them. I need to do them more to enjoy them more. To me, like the one area of tricking, because I can do flips, back flip, side flip, front flip. I could do kicks. I could do all different types of kicks and flips. But as far as twisting goes, it was never like really my strong suit. And I just need to work on it more. But like a Hong Kong reminds me of a butterfly twist. And I can do butterfly twists kinda, but like not super comfortable. But like the only time I've ever done Hong Kongs, when I do them, I do like a butterfly twist. I'll go up flat, I'll twist around, do like a butterfly twist, but then like continue to the ground, That's how I do it. But you do them?
On the subject. Which ones?
You like Hong Kongs?
I want to, oh man, because I saw my buddy Matt was doing that. I'm just like, I love the way that he was moving in the air and the impact. To me, that impact's just like, oh, you're on your side. And it's just like, I will do one day. I'm not there yet. Like I said, I'm just getting into the tricking. And now it's about, I got the 8 basic kicks down: the front kick, the back kick, the round, or not the back kick, the side kick, the round, inside crescent, outside crescent, axe, hook, which is very tough. I'm having trouble. I'm getting it. The hook kick for me is tough. It's about getting that leg straight. See, my leg was going down, but now it's just about getting that form right. And then what was the other one? Twist kick. So I got those. Now moving on to the trick kicks. So
nice.
It's that progression, Take your time and you'll get it.
Exactly. Yeah, dude.
But I was gonna ask you, what are some of your favorite moves to perform, like in stunt? Like, do you have any like, oh, I really like doing this one, or your go-to, your specialty, or whatever?
Okay, you mean like what move do I do when I'm drinking out with friends and I don't want to hurt myself, but also want to show off? Like,
yeah. Oh, that too. I mean, it's whatever you want. Whatever makes you happy.
I love to do my go-to easiest move ever is an aerial. It's just basically doing a cartwheel without your hands. So you just start and just jump up. Backflips are always a staple. Just a regular back tuck, because it's like the muscle memory's there. It's like I built it up, and it's just really fun to do. As far as actual stunt work goes, I just love performing fight scenes, like in particular. I don't really, probably shouldn't even say this, but I don't really enjoy wrecking. I prefer performing and like landing a really complex combination of moves, maybe doing some tricking with some kicking in there and like flipping around, like landing somewhere precisely, really like giving off like a body language of like a hero or something. Like I love the performance aspect of it. And those are like my favorite stunts to do. Basically, I consider that my favorite. As far as like actual moves, I love side flips, I love back flips, and I love aerials. And I love like climbing walls and stuff. That's just parkour and balancing on things.
What about rappelling? You ever do any rappelling?
No, I haven't done rappelling. I've done some rope, some rock climbing with the ropes, but I've never I've rappelled down from doing that, but I've never actually just went to do rappelling. Have you?
Me? Not yet, but perhaps down the line. We're talking about it. We'll see what Kane Action Team has in store. You never know. That's the fun thing about being a stuntman. Always expect the unexpected. Well, anything else you got before any questions?
On your end, we covered it. I guess
this was a really good interview.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. In terms of projects,
what do you got? You got coming up on this channel?
Well, I got the my vlogs. I'm going to keep doing those. Just stay tuned for that. In terms of this channel, everybody knows I'm going to the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 35, baby! In 65 days, I will be at MetLife Stadium with over 80,000 people. So I'm going to be doing a card predictions video for the grand show, the big show, the Showcase of the Immortals. I already said it twice, but I don't care. I'm going to say it again. I will be there. So I'm going to do a ton of great stuff for WrestleMania. Nice. That's down the pipeline. April the 6th. Let me just make sure I get that right. April the 7th. There we go. So yeah, that's what's coming here at youtube.com/DinoGuys412. If you want to get plugs in for your content, your channels, which are all found down below in the description box, you're certainly welcome to.
Cool. Yeah, man, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely going to watch your channel some more.
Thank you.
What is it? If I have anything coming up? Yeah, I'm about to start doing a 30-day video challenge again, which I did a couple years ago. And I'm basically going to make a video every day for 30 days. So some of it's going to be vlogs, some of it's going to be like inspirational content, probably a lot of like fight reviews and tutorials. And yeah, I would love to do more streams and stuff and podcasts and interviews. So
yeah, these are great. It's just a great outlet to talk, discuss, shoot the breeze, as I like to say.
Yeah. I was also considering doing Twitch just to try out, because I think that it makes Twitch, the streaming gamers.
I've heard of it. I know video games. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm considering doing that because I want to get better. So like this is like a side tangent. Like one of the things I'm working on my channel is to try to be a better presenter and comedic presenter, because my favorite channel is YouTube channel is PewDiePie, and I love just being able to react to stuff and like find the comedy and tell a joke. I feel like it's similar to stand-up, which I haven't done either. But so like right now I'm trying to develop, and I think one of the ways to get more comfortable in a camera is a situation like this, like streaming, whether you're talking to somebody or like if you're playing something, you need to be talking out of like thin air and like make stuff up and narrate in a monologue, Yeah. So
nice.
That's what I'm trying to get better at.
Well, Rustic, it was great to have you on the channel. You're always welcome back on anytime you want to, shoot the breeze, do another one of these. I love this. This was probably the best interview I've done on my channel to date. So thank you for that.
Dude,
it's
thank
great.
you very much
I love it.
Me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it too.
So yeah, that does it for us, guys. I want to say thank you all for watching this video here at youtube.com/DanielGuys412. Be sure to check my Twitter at DanielGuys412 and follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/DanielGuys1994. Links to my channel and Rustic's channels will also be found down below in the description box. So please check out his content. It is truly some of the best out there. And like I said, once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Rustic, for joining me. And we are out. Have a good night, guys.